Welcome everyone, I'm Alison with Continental Bead Suppliers. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd like to share with you today how to create this beautiful bridal hair chain. It's a very versatile accessory. There's so many different options that you can have for embellishing these chains, and it will make any bride's day super special. For the bridal hair chain, we will be using 10 inches of the round disc specialty chain, part number CH-897, 12 inches of the 3x4mm cable chain, part number CH-819, 22 of the 2-inch 20 gauge eye pins, part number is E/P2, 11 1.5-inch 24 gauge head pins, part number H/P1.5, 13 4mm jump rings, part number is JR4, 2 6mm jump rings, part number is JR6. We're going to be using 22 6mm beads. I'm using crystal pearls, 6mm crystal pearls, and as you can see I've actually started to put this chain together just to save a little bit of time, but I'm going to do 2 of the beads to show you how to create these little open loops. 11 of the faceted crystal beads, 6mm. They can either be a round like these ones or a bicone shape. Again, I've prepared a bunch of these and I have 2 to show you how to do. There'll be 2 bobby pins, so you can use plain or fancy. These ones are really pretty with a little crystal detail. 2 pairs of flat nose pliers, 1 pair of chain nose pliers, 1 pair of round nose pliers, and 1 pair of flush cutters. I just wanted to pass on a little tip about creating the same size loop on the opposite end of an eye pin when you're working with that. You've perhaps noticed that I have a little mark on my plier here. Basically, I've determined where this line goes by placing the eye pin into the jaw and seeing where it falls. So when I place the other end of the eye pin into the plier jaw, I'm placing it at this mark that I've made on the plier, so that way I'm going to create a loop that's the same size. We're going to begin by creating this pearl chain. For anybody that saw my earlier unboxing video on our YouTube channel, you might remember that we had rather a lot of eye pins. Well, this project makes great use of them if you don't want to use wire from a spool. So to create the eye pin loop, we're going to take one of these eye pins here and thread on the pearl. And I like to just do this first step by bending the wire in my hand rather than using a plier. So usually bring the wire towards me or away from me. Measure about 1 centimetre here or 1/2 inch. Take the flush cutters and trim that off. Move that out of the way. Take the round nose pliers. As you can see, it makes a really pretty even loop here. And the way that we attach this onto this chain is to take the chain nose pliers and just lift the link up a little bit. Hook it into this one here. It's just a continuation on. And close that up carefully there. So that's one. We're going to pick up the next eye pin and thread on the last pearl. So once again, I like to just use my nail and bend the wire down here so it forms a nice 90-degree angle. Take my flush cutters, and it's about 1/2 inch to or 1 centimetre depending on what method of measurement you're using. Just snip that off. Take the round nose pliers and create our loop. There we go. Open the loop with our chain nose pliers and link onto the last piece of chain. Close that up nicely there. Okay, so that's this chain complete. The next thing we're going to do is finish creating the 11 wrapped loops. So as you can see, I've done 9 of them here, and I have 2 crystals left. So we're going to take a head pin, thread the bead on, and I'm going to take the chain nose pliers, and just at the very tip of the plier, because I want this to be a tiny little wrap, just push the wire away from me to a 90-degree angle, swap up to the round nose pliers, and this again is going to be at the very tip of the plier. I just want this to be a tiny little loop, so ignore these lines that I already have on the pliers here. So the wire comes up over the top until it touches the bead. Hold onto the bead, open the pliers, do a 1/4 turn, tighten back up again. The wire is always going on the outside edge, directly underneath the plier. So then I take this round nose plier out and just go across the loop with my chain nose pliers. Then I'm going to wrap this wire around the shank from underneath the plier down towards the bead. So each wrap is being deliberately placed next to the other one. I'm just working my way down to the bead. Just like that, so no big gaps. Then I'm just going to take the flush cutters and trim that end off. And then if there's any spring back, I'm just going to take the chain nose pliers and just give that a little tweak in so that it doesn't get caught on anything. So I'll do that once again with the last of the 11 crystals. So threading onto the head pin, just the very tip of the plier, pushing that wire away, and the tip of the round nose pliers up over the top until the wire touches the bead. Hold onto the bead, open the plier, 1/4 turn the plier, tighten it back up. The wire again goes on the outside edge. Take that plier out. Go across the loop with your chain nose plier. And once again, you're starting beneath the plier and working your way down towards the bead, placing each wrap beneath the one previous to that. Trim that once again. Again, just tweak in anything that might be sticking out. And there we go, we have the 11 crystals. So I've found the midpoint of this cable chain here, and I've taken a 4mm jump ring and just going to slip it through that midpoint link, and then add one of the wrap loops onto here, and then close this up. So you can see that sitting nicely there. Then we have to determine placing these next crystals at inch intervals along here. So they're going to be sitting approximately an inch apart. So you can just count the links as you're going along the chain. You just start from one side of the center point to start with. So I'm actually going to count the links and attach all of these crystals with the 4mm rings, and then I'll come back. So now I'm going to attach the last crystal to the link. I found that the spacing should be 8 links. That leaves the ring attached to the link that's lying in the same direction as the previous one. So you just count 8 from where you placed the last ring, or the where you started in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you'll see it just makes all the crystals lie in the same direction. So we'll just pop that on there. Close that up. There we go. So the next bit that we're going to do is attach one end of this specialty chain to another little jump ring. This is going to be our connector to the bobby pins. So let's just open that up. Put this in the last loop here. Close it up. And we'll do the same for the opposite end. So open the last little 4mm ring. Attach that on there. Make sure it's closed properly. We don't want this specialty chain slipping through an open part of the ring here, so make sure it is nice and flush there. The next thing we're going to do is take one of the 6mm jump rings and open it. We're going to thread on the specialty chain first. Then we're going to put one end of the pearl chain on. And then one end of the crystal chain. So that's going to sit this way, like this. Close that up. We'll pop the first bobby pin in through that hole there. So that's going to look like this. So this one's going to be the left side. So this could get a little tricky, so just take your time and lay the strands out in the order that they're going to go onto the next ring. Just takes a minute just to see where you are. Make sure that the crystal strand, everything is lying correctly with that one. It's not got twisted around. So that will probably take just a couple of minutes to do, just to make sure that everything is lying nice and flat. So we'll take the other 6mm ring, open this up. So we're going to go on with, we're actually going to go backwards with this one. It probably makes more sense. So we're going to put this one on first, the crystal ring, then the pearls, and then the specialty chain, and close that up. And then we're going to add this bobby pin on here too. That's there like this. And then this is the hair chain completed. So it looks really pretty once it's in the hair, and it's just such a beautiful detail for a very special day. So let's put that down there. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, we love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.